Welcome, everyone. Today is Tuesday. Um, Topic is non-duality. So I'm going to read this. Anyone new? Did they have an idea of the Course in Miracles? You ever heard of it? If someone hasn't heard of it, just let us know. It's just was sort of like a download through this woman in the 70s. They transcribed it, and it was presented as a message from the Christ mind, and called The Course in Miracles. Became a book with lessons. You do 365 lessons a year. Some believe you just, after you do it, that's it. Others studied it for a long time. Who knows? But I like some of its parts very much. I got involved with a group that was pretty trippy around it. And
Can I ask,
hmm?
can I ask a question about the course?
Yeah.
Um, so I was reading the text for a while. I'd never gone down that rabbit hole. It found me. I was doing the text. I haven't even gotten to the lessons, but something just sort of guided me to read the text itself. Is there any, did you read the text or did you jump right into the lessons in terms of how you were introduced to it?
No, I did the lessons, I think.
Okay.
And I think the text is to support doing the lessons. I
Yeah, I've
think,
heard yeah, people have they see it either way and they say, however it finds you, just go with it. So
yeah, exactly. So,
cool. Thank you.
but this is on a page from this one. It's on page 468. And to me, it's just a beautiful description. And you ready? I'm going to start it now. So they're talking about a description of what they're going to describe again and again. And it says here, yet we have heard a very similar description earlier, but it was not of you. Yeah. So the description in the book is not describing you. It's describing a you. Yeah. But not you. Yeah. Yeah. But still, so this is obviously when you feel a certain way of holding it, or like shuffling the deck or rolling the dice, you comes upon you, then you're interested when you see it said in other places. Yeah. And so in this place, it's going to use negation, which I think is the only way to go, literally. But here it goes, yet we have heard a very similar description earlier, but it was not of you. But still, this strange idea, which it does accurately describe, you think is you. It's just, there you go. They basically diagnose where you are, no matter what you're thinking or where you're thinking you are. Reason would tell you, they use the word reason, you could call it wisdom, but reason would tell you that the world you see through eyes that are not yours. So obviously they're implying the two eyeballs, yeah, that facilitate seeing, and information's taken in through these lenses, camera lenses, and then the brain interprets that information and presents a world, yeah. So it says here, reason would tell you that the world you see through eyes that are not yours, these two eyes, must make no sense to you. Yeah. To whom would seeing such as this send back its messages? So how the world or the experience is being interpreted is in a self-centered manner, yes? So how the brain sees everything is how it pertains to its idea of you, yeah? Yeah. Self-centeredness, the system, the narration, the interpretation is centered on this idea of self. Let's take a simple description, a long-lasting, independent, separate entity. That's what's believed to be a self. Okay, so for you have listened to, oh, here it goes. You have, let's see. Reason would tell you that the world you see through eyes that are not yours must make no sense to you. Now, if this is true, then what's making sense to the eye that sees the world? You can go the back door, it's not you. Because it's basically saying it makes no sense to you. So if the shit's making sense to you, the you it's making sense to is not you. Yes? You see the negation of it? It's beautiful because it's describing. uh, it continues the same on the same track. It doesn't deviate. It's pretty cool. This it goes. For you have. Oh, here we go. To whom would seeing such as this send back its messages of surely not you, surely not you. I mean, it seems so obvious to it. It's going surely you can't fucking pull this out of the I mean, really, you're gonna try this? So he goes. I'm reading out of this course, so I'll go back to this meaning, this part. So it's talking about a way of seeing that the eyes take in the information and the brain collates. And it's saying this information about what the eyes see that see the world must make no sense to you. So if it's making sense to you, you're not that you. Yeah. So if because its statement is it makes no sense to you. Yeah. So if it's making sense, it's not to you. So surely not you whose eye, oh, to whom would seeing such as this send back its messages. Surely not you whose sight, you want to, let's call it awareness, yes, whose sight is wholly independent of the eyes that look upon the world. Wow. So while we're looking upon the world, there's a seeing, and there can be a seeing of the looking upon the world. Like you can become aware of the looking upon the world. So you can see what's looking, but what's looking can't see what's seeing. But seeing can see what's looking. Isn't that beautiful? Or who's looking? But the who's looking can't see what's seeing. We got it sort of ass backwards. We're trying to look for ourselves from what we're not. So if that is the case, the first and maybe only move would be to negate that. Yes, to negate that direction, to negate how it's placed, that you're using actually what you are to look for what you are. And if that's the case, being what you are, you're going to negate that which is using what you are to look for what you are as what you're not, obviously. That's how it works. It's a trick in a way, but it triggers relief. And really, that's what you're looking for, I feel. I was. So I didn't know the relief was going to be from the drive to get relief. I didn't know it was going to take that kind of look, but the liberation was from the need to be liberated. Yeah, it was a trip. So the idea that I had about liberation was being held by something that I need to be liberated from, not to work for its liberation, but for what I am to be liberated from that idea. Yeah. So uh, if this is not your vision, this is pretty cool. Eh? So he says it, and he's going to ask you, if this is not your vision, what can it show to you? It's not your vision. Yeah. What can a failed system show to you? It's failed. It's beautiful. And if there's a resistance to get that message, that thing that's resisting it is not you. It's part of the failed system. Yeah. The system is sending messages to itself. It's having like it has sends letters back and forth. Yeah. So if this is not your vision, what can it show to you? It's not your vision. It's a form of looking. That's not seeing. Yeah. This is very cool. The brain cannot interpret what your vision sees. This you would understand. This sounds like surely not you, and it's sort of in the same feeling. This you should understand. Like this is quite important. That the brain cannot interpret what your vision sees. It can interpret what you think you look at and for. It can't interpret what the vision sees. Yeah. The brain interprets to the body of which it is a part. Emphatic period, exclamation, 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 exclamation. That's it. If you want a large amount of information to be erased very quickly, just listen to that statement. The brain interprets to the body of which it is a part. Will explain a whole lot of shit. It really will, if you see that. It has not been interpreting to you. You are the interpretation. Yeah. You do not receive the interpretation. You are the nexus of the interpretation. You're believing you're receiving it. And some of this could be fucking propaganda. No, you're the propaganda itself. Yeah. The idea that there's someone listening to it is the propaganda of it. Yeah. But it's the brain interprets to the body of which it is a part. What it's what but what it says you cannot understand, yet you have listened to it. And long and hard you try to understand its messages. This is what got me early on. Yep. My head in action, not my head, the head in action was occupying itself with what was not happening in that moment of happening. I thought that was all I needed to know, literally, that it put more emphasis on yesterday and tomorrow than it does on now. What? I don't need, it's like how many people have to point out the horse you're sitting on is dead? It would probably be just one, you know? If you, if, if, if you thought you were riding and been sitting on a dead horse, when it may have dawned on you, it possibly could be dead. It would ring true. You wouldn't need like 10. Hey, bro, you're on a dead horse. Just one person. You're on a dead horse. Should do it literally. Yeah. So, you have not realized it impossible to understand what fails entirely to reach you. You have received no messages at all you understand. Wow. For you have listened to what can never communicate at all. Isn't that true? It broadcasts, it narrates, it debates, but there's no communication. Does it ever ask your opinion? When the head is giving what it calls your opinion, does it ever ask for your opinion? No, there's no communication whatsoever. It's just like it's like, there's a franchise of radio stations they used to call a clear channel. This is like a franchise of unclear channel. We're all listening to a very unclear channel, but we're assuming it's us broadcasting to us. Yeah. Wow. Denying what you are. Now, this I feel is very important. Don't take this to be a point of study. Recognize it as an activity. Yeah. So here's the activity that they froze through awareness. Awareness opened up this activity and they're describing it. Denying what you are. Wait a minute. Wait 1 minute. If I walk up to any of you people walking around the street and I say, ha, denying what you are, you would deny that. Yes? I'm buying a pair of pants. I'm affirming what I am. Getting a haircut. No, you're affirming actually what you're not. But you're in the act of denying what you are. What? I am in the act of denying what you are? Yes. And also firm in faith that you are something else. Wow. This is the duality movement, yeah? Denying what you are and firm in faith that you are something else. This something else. Now, in this book, they say that you have made to be yourself. I do not believe you did this at all. So I believe the head has made it to be yourself. So I'm going to use my little translation. Denying what you are and firm in faith that you are something else. See, this may be an activity unbeknownst to you that's already going on, like right now. Yeah? Because it's not you doing it, but you can become aware of it. Yeah? It's a mental activity, and the mental activity is to deny what you are at all costs and have great faith in the something else has made to be you. In other words, to replace you, it's made of you. Yeah? And denying what you are and firm in faith that you are something else. This something else that your head has made to be yourself becomes your sight. Yeah. So you basically never see self-centeredness. You see it in others, yeah, but you very rarely see it, yeah, because it's now your sight. Yeah. You see everything as how it pertains to you. I'm going to state it again because this is one of the more, this is action sentence that you have nothing to do with it, but this action could be having a lot to do with you right at this moment. Denying what you are and firm in faith that you are something else. Yeah. This something else that you have made to be yourself becomes your sight. Yet it must be the something else that sees. Yes? Yeah. So for all intents, for all, I want to add the end of that. Yet this must be the something else that sees, and as not you, explains its sight to you. Yeah. Are you being fed an interpretation from a failed system? Yeah. The failed system has presented a mechanical form of seeing, which is a form of looking, and that's called self-centeredness, that causes us to be blind in a lot of ways, yes? Especially to that which is before the self-centeredness, which is the true seeing, yeah? The seeing that we call ourselves as the seer is a form of looking, and it's self-centeredness produced by the brain, yeah? And this, we believe it's us, and then that us that is a something else explains its sight to you. I would say ad nauseum. Goes on and on, telling you how you were, how you're going to be, how it is, how they were, how they're going to be, how it is. Just constant. So your vision, this is beautiful. Your vision, which is untouched by any of these activities, your vision, awareness, let's say, would, of course, render this quite unnecessary. You would not have to be told by a mechanical interpretation what's going on. You'd be quite aware of it. Yeah? Have you ever had a job when you were, and then you got home around 7 o'clock at night, and then the head told you had a bad day, even though you were there the whole day? It took 8 hours or 9 hours of collating and taking in the fucking false information, and then your day is presented to you. You had a bad day. And then some seeds of resentments. You know, that guy that's working next to you, man, he looked at you with a bad way. All this bullshit starts kicking up. Yeah. So your vision would, of course, render this quite unnecessary. Yet, yes. So the fact is, freedom is available. Yet, it says, if your vision, if your eyes are closed and you have called upon this thing to lead you, asking it to explain to you the world it sees, you have no reason not to listen, nor to suspect that what it tells you is not true. Now you have a damn good reason to suspect what it tells you is not true. And the feeling of being told what is not true is also not true. There is not a true person that's being misled. The misleading includes the idea of being a person. You're not a person that's been misled. The idea of a person is the misleading. Yes? You don't see the interpretation. It's like the radio broadcast and the audience are the same. Yeah? We're thinking we just got to listen to another radio broadcast. No, there is no one home. Yeah, not as we think of, there is a one, there is no one of that. There is no one that is a thing. Yeah. Heaven is not an 18-hole golf course. Heaven is not going to be lifelong thingness forever and ever. So, getting dark in here. Hold on. I'm going to try to finish this up. You know, when I hear this and when I heard it, I was knocked out a long time ago. I was like knocked out of the first sentence. The first sentence knocked me out completely. And then it was just pummeling for the next few paragraphs until it worked like a meat tenderizer. There was nothing in me. I had no shape or form because it seemed to describe exactly what I thought I was doing. Yeah. But that I that was doing it was manufactured. It's part of the doing. Yeah. So I want to say that last word. It says basically, because you are awareness, all this would be academic. But if your eyes are closed, this is the one say, it's just one little yet. If your eyes are closed and you have called upon this thing to lead you, yeah, asking it to explain to you the world it tells you, you'll have no reason not to listen, nor to suspect that what this is telling you is not true. Yeah. I'll tell you something. The first acid trip was amazing for this. Yeah. But the problems lived through the first acid trip because it recognized everyone was a plastic person but me. I was the only one exempt from the revelation. I was. It was a trip. I now realized everyone else was completely phony, but I was the one real one. I needed a follow-up and called non-duality to fucking finally make sense of it, really. I had it all. I felt everything, but I didn't know it couldn't translate through this fucking fog. So it needed an understanding to explain itself. And when I heard the understanding, it was like the bells of 1,000 churches went off at the same time. It was fucking great, man. I remember it was so motivating. I bought a ticket to go to Bombay, India to see the guy who wrote the book that sort of triggered something, which was Ramesh Balsar. He was 85 at that point, so I thought I'd better get to see him before he died. So I went over to Bombay myself. uh, he did an incredible thing. Someone sent me the video of the day I was there. So they would always have a new person ask questions because at this point, he was tired of giving satsang to everyone that kept showing up. So I was a new person, so he put you in a seat right in front of him, and you were like the pump primer. You primed him because, but first he asked the action figure, do you have a place to stay? Have you eaten? Because he says it's pointless to talk about this if the action figure's irritable, restless, and discontent. Just get a place to stay. Don't come to satsang, you know what I mean? So I said, yeah, yeah. He says, well, what do you do? I said, not much. And they said, well, what's your job in America? I'm a house painter. And then he went off on this thing that was recorded, and this person sent it to me like 12 years later. And they knew I don't watch any videos that are sent to me usually. So I said, no, no, Paul, watch this video. And then I heard my voice talking to Ramesh. And so Ramesh was talking, he made an example. This isn't the truth, but as a way of getting something across. He talked about personal presence and impersonal presence. Yeah. So the impersonal presence, and then there's the personal presence in the impersonal presence, and tell me where there's a difference. But the personal thinks there's a huge difference. That's the only thing that that picks up any difference in the impersonal presence is personal presence. So he said, listen, do you have a place to stay? I go, yeah. It says, so when you go to work, do you forget you have a place to stay? I go, no, I don't forget it. It says, do you have to chant, I have a place to stay, I have a house, I have a house? Because you're not in the house. You're not having direct, right, contemporary evidence. I go, no, no, no. It says, if you have to stay overtime, is it more apt to convince you don't have a house? No, I have a house. Overtime. Well, if you have to work far away, does being far away from the house convince you? No, no. I feel, I know I have a house. Yeah. I know it so well, I don't have to keep saying I have a house. Yep. So he says, this is exactly what it is. There is no personal presence. So the personal presence tries to keep remembering the impersonal presence. Just forget the personal presence. This is the point. Forget the personal presence and you'll realize it's all impersonal presence. Instead of to realize the impersonal presence as the first person to ever realize the impersonal presence. And these little changing, because I thought straight ahead was straight ahead, but in mental logic and non-duality, straight ahead is completely different. Mental logic, it just turns on itself and just does this loop. Straight ahead to non-duality is being ourselves reality. That's the starting point. Yeah. And then from there, if there's any other needed for any other point, it's seen as negation. So whatever is using reality to gain reality cannot be the reality. As we are as the reality. So there's your way of finding out the policeman is really the criminal. Yeah. So if it's looking for reality, it's not you. Yes? Because what you are is being reality. So where in the hell is any aspect of what you are going to be looking for itself when it already is itself? Yet there's something looking for it, and you use that something that's looking for it to negate it. Yes, yes. It's pure non-dual machete. Yeah. The trick brings up the false, and then you see it from the true, and you chop off the legs of the false. You don't even have to swing the machete. There's no bone in those legs. They're like a mirage. Yes? Once all the interest and attention moves to what you are, you'll see right through what you're not. It's the only thing that keeps us in the fog is interest and attention. Yeah. To the point we're trying to use interest and attention to find the source of interest and attention when we are the source of interest and attention. Yeah. So I'm going to give you a little hint. If you're looking for something you already are, that which is presented as you looking is not you. Yeah. You want to make sure the meat's good, grass fed, fucking whatever fed, organic stamp. I'm telling you. Yeah. If you're looking for what you are, that ain't you. It's just a simple, yeah. You don't have to get to the 50th question. Right there. He leaves this game show and get on with let's make a deal. Yeah. First spiritual seeker. What's your name? Paul. What are you seeking? The truth. You are the truth. That which would be seeking the truth isn't true. You would never get started. That's so beautiful. Every time you make a move towards the truth, you get whacked. Yeah. And then humbly, sooner or later, it's going to dawn you, you are what you're looking for. Yeah. And then the looking for will stop, and then you'll are, and then you'll be, and then I am. Yeah. And then have a good day or a bad day. All going to erase like an etch a sketch. I've been so fucking zoomed out because of the people I'm around, I think. I've had a lot of fucking energy going, and I'm either going to transcend at any moment or commit like spiritual homicide. I don't know which. Could go either way. I may be a danger to myself or to others around me. I swear, it's been whew. I've had this before sometimes where it got way. I was looking for a nice fashionable straitjacket for myself. I did. I was going to voluntarily give myself up because I needed, man. So it's getting like that. Yes, yes. So be very kind to me today. Treat me with kit gloves and donate quite a lot of cash. I got to buy that island. And I'll tell you one island it ain't going to be, and that's Long Island. It's going to be as far away from Long Island as I possibly can. All right. Well, let's open it up. Thank you. And Amia has raised. She's like the forever phoenix. She got a car, whatever, and here she is. Here's every time. Yeah. I tell her to go like 4 hours north, and then call her up and say I'm here, and she's here. Like it's amazing, amazing. All right. Anyone, Kathleen, or whoever?
No, we have no hands up, Paul.
Joe Saquaya, something like that. Loose garment. Yeah, cool. No? All right. Well, you got the gist of it, didn't you?
Hey, Paul,
Yeah.
what's the page in A Course in Miracles?
Page, let me look it up. I think it's page 468 in the Inner Foundation book of the Course of Miracles. Yeah, it's 468 under Message of the Holy Relationship. Starts at the third paragraph and goes into the first paragraph on page 469.
Okay, I was looking at it because each section they like restart the page numbers, so I understand my problem now. Thank you.
Yeah, yeah. It's one of the, to me, it's so succinct, and it doesn't deviate from a certain look. I love it. Just like, yeah, yeah. You would have to, it would be like Michelangelo seeing that granite and then cutting all the shit away and having the David. Yeah. This is the Course of Miracles did that. And there you are. You recognize the David. Paul, the ideation.
Hey, can I ask a question, Paul?
Eh?
You were talking to someone the other day about the Course in Miracles, and you talked about like the course, it has its own cadence,
Yes.
in terms of how it comes in and out. And then just now you were talking about how just recently there's been that energy, that straitjacket energy, or you're not sure the way it's going to go, but there's a heightened thing. And so there are these movements, these cadences. I was wondering if you could just talk a little bit about that. I mean, because it seems to be part of the way the dreaming flows. There are these cadences and these movements.
Well, I don't know. It's just built into the course, and they figured it out a little later. Yeah.
Okay.
So they were just having it, they were just transcribing it. And I think later on, people who knew how to like meter language and thing found it's a certain music, like a musical cadence, sort of like what chanting would produce. So a lot of people would get together and read the course out loud so that cadence could have an effect on the brain. Yeah.
Okay, I was thinking of it differently, more like the cadence of these movements, because you've talked about various movements, like you've had periods of time where days felt like they were literally weeks, you know, how time, how there's just in the dreaming, the appearances, the cadence of various things like time or energies, you know, flow at different rhythms and things like that. I've heard you talk about several movements like that, and I was just curious to hear you riff on that a little bit more, just in terms of the dreaming itself.
Uh, what do you mean like an energy overload?
But no, like right now, for instance, you said you were talking about like I don't know, I could commit spiritual homicide or it could go either way.
I'm
I'm
joking. I'm
right?
joking about
Okay,
that. I was just
okay,
let's say the blood it's not the blood pressure, but it feels like the blood pressure is elevated. So every once in a while you get a shock and then it reverberates for a few days. And
okay,
uh yeah.
yeah,
I wouldn't do any work with like heavy industrial equipment or anything.
understood for sure.
Yeah, so it's just usually if this was a live meeting, you would want to look and make sure you weren't going too far, too out there.
Yeah, no, that's cool.
Yeah.
I've heard, you know, Alan Watts talked a little bit about it too, just the like the musicality of life and these flowing, like, you know, when you've talked about falling down the stairs or
Oh
certain
yeah. Yeah.
epiphanies and things that change, and it's like it's like chapters of the book. There's these unfolding, and you've even said like I wouldn't want to spoil that for anybody, like how it's going to unfold for you, because it's going to look different for everybody. And it was just, you know, it's an interesting subject to me, just the cadence of those movements.
Oh, well, that's the thing. You may have made many movements, but there is a cadence to it. Yes. You'll see patterns. You can recognize patterns.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's interesting. Yeah.
But see, when I used to do talks early on, uh, let's say I did like 12 talks in 13 days. Yeah. Live talks.
Oh,
I could feel something build up. And so when I get home, it was like a big wave, a set of waves came. And for about the next 3 months, I could see effects from that.
mhm.
Yeah. So something built up, caused like a set to build. And then that set broke on my life, or broke on the shore of life for 3 months. And I noticed the inception of it. Yeah. And so I
Yeah,
started to see like seasons of that, a season of getting whacked and then moved, and then another whack would occur and I would be moved more. Yeah.
yeah, interesting.
Now I'm an old guy and it's all rocking chair stuff.
You're right, right.
I mean, it's not like wrestling with the Kundalini serpent.
Right.
Oh. Those
Yeah.
days are over. Yeah. Yeah. Just
Cool.
sort of. I just felt it the last few days. The energy was up. Yeah. And
Yeah.
I don't do much about it, just passing. But
Hmm.
I had an event where it lasted a long time and it was very, yeah.
Yeah.
I was happy that didn't keep going. It was one year enough was more than enough. So
Yeah, yeah. Some things you see up real up close and you're like, that's good. I get it. That's good enough.
yeah, yeah. Oh no. Here
Yeah,
we have this is the easier, softer way. Listen to it. There's a cadence in satsang.
yeah.
And there's a cadence in non-duality. Non-duality doesn't start where everything else starts. It questions that starting point. And after you've done so many different things with the same starting point, obviously the starting point should become suspicious sooner or later. Yes?
Oh yeah.
You do Buddhism and then Catholicism and this, then you mix other shit up. But it's the starting point, yeah, because the starting point ain't the starting point. It's manufactured, yeah. In time,
Yeah.
you, as David Bitterman, with this body consciousness, does not start at the dawn of time. It doesn't. It starts after time. Time has already started, and then you seem to start. Yeah.
Yeah.
What's happening in those first few moments of time. The manufacturing of self.
Yep.
By claiming life having contact with whatever, and that contact triggers the mental state, and the state claims the contact and makes a story out of it. And when you wake up at that point. Yeah. So
Oh.
the hidden pages aren't at the end of the book, they're in the front of the book. Yes.
Yeah.
In front of the book. So you can see, because you are not the thing that was manufactured, you can see in that space of no time the manufacturing of self. You can see it. You can become aware of it.
All day. Yeah.
And when you become aware of it, you don't need much schooling to hold it as not you. It just becomes obvious. Yeah. Now, does it have its own life in time? Yes. And does it say, I'm going to change me in time with the timeless? Yes. And can it do that? No. Yeah. And all of its futilities and great metaphysical plans are going to fail. Enough of them will. So hopefully you'll get the futility of using what you are to find what you are. Yeah.
Sure.
I mean, with like no ember in the fire. Oh, I mean, no, nothing is going to kick it up. It's been put out. Yeah. You're in the wisdom of no escape. I'm not trying to get out of fucking here. I was trying to get out of here my whole life since I was about 6. Yeah. And I tried hard a lot of ways. I don't try at all anymore because I realize I can't escape from an imaginary place. It's impossible.
Yeah.
The desire to escape and the belief in escape is part of the imaginary place.
Oh yeah. It's a short trip anyways.
So I hope the same conclusion happens with you, so that something gets stopped and something still continues. But you realize that thing that still continues was not you, is not you, and will be not you. Yeah. So I'm not doing huge damage, so it can believe anything it fucking wants. Yeah. Yes. Yeah. Yeah. So
Yes.
it's not going to get it. You try to make this thing spiritual. I mean, people much better than us have tried.
Yeah.
Yeah. It just won't hold the color. It won't. You can't dye it. DYE. You can't fucking turn it into something it can't be. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's great news, isn't it? It's great news.
It is. Yeah.
So when you recognize something that's keeping on trying to change it, it has to be of what you're not, because you know it can't change. Yeah. So what's struggling with it can't change ain't you. I mean, it's the perfect understanding. Yeah. When life brings it out of the woods and it starts reacting to what seems to be happening to the objectified you, you see the subjectified you is totally bogus. There you go. This is not 2. It's not 40. It's not 38. It's not 2. Non-duality. You as the object that's being thought about as you as the subject, you're neither of those. Boom. Yeah.
Cool.
Does the story continue? Definitely. Do you lose interest in it? Definitely. Yeah. Can you convince that which is already convinced of something to be convinced of something else? No. That thing that believes it's a sense of individuality, believes it has free will. You can go as many free will fucking seminars. The action figure's not getting it. It's just not getting it. When it goes into Baskin Robbins, all the years and weeks in the cave are erased. When it looks at mocha and vanilla. Yeah.
Yeah.
Why would you want to, once
No, just
it's
mocha.
been revealed. I mean, it's a dead horse. Yeah. Yeah. So I don't know. I don't think much about, here I am. Yeah. No
No, that was perfect.
bravado. Yeah. I'm probably the dumbest I've ever been. Seriously.
That's what as well. Yeah. It's good.
I like to call it enlightened or illuminated dumbness, but I'm dumb. A lot of people, when they came over, I'd have an answer for them. I don't have any answers much anymore. I just looked out, whatever. Yeah.
Don't know mine.
I mean, no, I don't know. It's just, it, it's, that part is at rest because it was trying to know what was behind the stars. It can't. So it's been sort of, it does good counting like nuts. Yeah. Counting nuts, how many ounces of flour I have to put into the zucchini
Yeah.
muffins. It's good with that.
Yeah,
But
it's useful at work. It's useful.
but the idea, uh, I know exactly what's going to happen. I don't know what's happening at all, literally. I just know that there isn't a you it's happening to. That's all I know, literally. I do not believe that there is every ball that hits the wall, there is no wall for the ball to hit. It's just it's all imagined sounds. Oh, a ball hit a wall. It's not real. It's not true. Yeah. It's exactly like what it was when you were dreaming last night, but you think you're awake now. So if you think you have free will, do the next right thing. Yeah. If you think you're a body and you're overwhelmed, surrender. Makes sense. Yeah. Throw up your hands, say no mas. Yeah. Whatever's there, I'm open to be directed or helped. Yes. Or maybe being used to be helpful. Yes. Whatever. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
I would recommend as an action figure to surrender, tell you the truth.
Oh, heck yeah.
The action figure, if it looks at its for the origin of misery, it's going to see it's somebody else. So I think the easiest, softer way is, hey, are you really being able to manage and control things? Is everything working out? Yeah. Have you finally arrived at where you started to or try to arrive at? And haven't you realized you're not going anywhere? Yeah. And then just throw up your hands. Like, this is the beauty of recovery. Recovery just, I spent 2 years under other people's guidance, 24/7. 24/7. 2 years. They were the best 2 years of my adult life. When other people who had no vested interest in me were telling me what to do, was better than anything I had suggested to myself. Do I need any more time to realize that? No, no. A dog catcher would do a better job with my life than I would. It would. The vested interest that was in my life and promoting my life was actually the strongest illness in there. Yeah. Yeah. So this is what the message is. This isn't a subtle spiritual move. It isn't. This is you come to a stop, and that which is keeping going isn't you. And you just come to a stop. The car keeps going. It keeps talking as if you're in the back of the cab, but you're off. You're out of the cab. It keeps looking back and talking as if there's a you. And you're walking down fucking Park Place in New York City. I wouldn't suggest Avenue A, no, stay off of that, but Park Place is nice. All right, anyone have anything else?
No,
No,
no.
great. I'm convinced. Fantastic. Thank you for satsang. I'm a total believer in the magic of satsang. Yeah. While you're heavily lifting shit, if you would just sit the fuck down and stop for a second, you'll probably get a lot more than you ever did by looking for everything. Yeah. Yeah. Admit your defeat on the spiritual grounds also. Admit your defeat. Yeah. Yes. You're not going to be the first alchemist that turns a thing into a non-thing. It's not going to work. Yeah. Yeah. All right. Christy, nice to see you as always. I'm 100% behind you, Christy, if at all possible. Same thing with Joe. Nice to meet you, Joe. Yes? Yes. We got Lisa M. from Alabama. Thank you for your message, Lisa. I know you'd like to be there. It's fine. You're not going to not be there, so don't worry about it.
I'm everywhere, baby. I love you. Happy birthday.
Yeah, thank you. Yes, yeah. Mike M., I'm going to be able to slap you around a little in Joshua Tree, I think. There you go. I get some sadistic humor out of that. That's good. Heather, our magician, our resident magician.
Happy birthday, Paul. I'm sending you a pop-up card.
Oh, the last one was beautiful.
Good. You're gonna like this one.
That's amazing that they can do that.
Yeah.
It's really cool, actually. It's squished, taking no space. You open it up, and it's an incredible. It's very nice. Yeah, Susan Harris, as always. Susan met my dog full on. Yeah, I'll try to get it out. My dog could kill you with exuberance.
Love your dog.
Yeah, she's yeah. Wait till she's about 100 pounds. It's gonna be dangerous. Yeah, she's girther now. She's growing. She's been eating the cat food for months. I finally caught her doing it. Yeah, the investigation is closed. We got the fucking criminal. Yeah, we've got okay. We got Eric in Vista. Eric, you have the address.
I do? Did you?
Oh, I'll send it to you.
Okay,
All right. I'll send it to
Very
you after
good.
I get off. Thank you. Great.
thanks.
Yeah. Annette, Wake W. Nice to see you, Annette. Jacob. Hi, Jacob. David and Natalie. I'll see both of you in the East Coast. Don't worry. It's going to happen, I think. April. Michael, Stacy. Ernie.
Thank you, Paul.
Oh, you're welcome, Ernie. Anytime. Judy Lovins. Yeah.
Thank you, Paul, and happy birthday.
You're welcome. It's been a happy birthday. I have two people who I like it here sitting in the dark with me. Yeah.
I think I've met those two.
Yeah, they're unforgettable.
They
Me-
are. And
Me and
special.
Vlad, yes. I think. No, I don't know if you met Vlad.
Oh, I haven't.
You met Mia though. She was back east. Yeah. Yeah. All right. Well, we got I think we got another page here. I can't get to it, doesn't matter. Thank you so much, everyone. Nice to see you, Jim. Oh, Jim Elliott. Nice to see you, brother. Travis. Travis, just, we'll supply the logs. You got the fire going. We'll just stoke the logs. Stoke the fire with the logs. Yes? Satsang all the logs of the day. All right. Everyone, Mike, I'll talk to you, everybody. Thank you so much for the time and all the support. Yeah. Yeah.
Thank you,
I'm
Paul.
gonna start, I'm gonna start wearing like leisure suits. Yeah. Top, bottom with a matching belt. Yeah. Yeah. Or a onesie. I'm just gonna fucking give it all up. Just wear a onesie with the flap in the back. Yeah.
Like a jumpsuit.
Coming to that point. There'll be no
The Zen
jump.
bitch jumpsuit.
Yeah. All right. Pray for me. Thank you, all of you. Pray for my well-being and my mental sanity. Thank you.
Thank you.
Birthday.
Happy
Thank you.
birthday, Paul.
Thank
Happy
you.
birthday.